So Frog and Egret were sitting outside near a pond. This is story time with Deborah. So Frog called out to Egret and asked Egret, "Why are you in the pond sitting on this lily pad?" And Egret said, "Well, I've always wanted to be a frog, and that's why I'm out here in this pond on this lily pad." And Frog noticed that Egret was making a funny noise, and Egret actually was croaking like a frog. So Frog asked Egret, "Why is it that you're trying to croak like a frog?" And Egret said, "Well, I've always wanted to be a frog. That's why I'm on the lily pad, and that's why I'm out here in this pond." Well, other frogs began to gather around the pond to watch Egret croak like a frog. And then Frog said to Egret, "I've always wanted to be an egret. I've always wanted to fly to the Netherlands." And so the egret said, "Well, maybe we should try and achieve our dreams. Maybe we should go to the Netherlands, and maybe there in the pond I can be a frog and you can learn how to fly like an egret, like me." And so they gathered a few belongings in a bag for each of them, and Frog hopped on to Egret's back, and they flew, and Egret and the frog flew and flew for days. It took 3 to 4 days for them to get to the Netherlands. And Egret was so weak from flying, and Frog was so weak from holding on to Egret's back as Egret flew. They forgot to pack food. And so when they made it to the Netherlands, they saw this pond, this tiny pond, and it was by a tiny house, a tiny looking hut. And so they landed into this pond, and they landed on this large lily pad, and Egret just flopped, and the frog just fell out. And they were both hungry and thirsty, but too weak and too tired and too flustered to do anything about it. The only thing they could do was whisper, "The Netherlands. We both made it to the Netherlands," croaked Frog. So they lay there for about a day, and they were so weak they could only lift their heads. And they heard a noise. And it was this woman who walked up to the pond and began to throw out flakes of food into the pond. It looked like bread, flakes of bread. And Frog was able to catch a floating bite, and Egret was also able to get a bite. And so with the bite, they were able to take a drink. And every day the woman would come to the pond, and she would throw out flakes of bread, and they began to get stronger and stronger. And Egret began to croak, and Frog began to croak. And they knew, we're here, we're in the Netherlands, and this is the pond that we should be in. And Frog said to Egret, "I'm a frog and I will never fly. And you are an egret, and you will never be a frog. But there is one thing. We're both in the Netherlands. We're in a pond in the Netherlands, and we have someone who feeds us every day. And we're grateful to be here. Every day they ate, every day they both croaked, and every day Egret took frog for a fly. The end.